Hello everyone and welcome to another Golden Age Stories stream here. We are playing Mage the Ascension, Technogate 1999. Um, Today we are going to be doing an adventure, continuing to go through and attacking and destroying the nodes that are powering the gate to Altered Earth. We recently had a little bit of a revelation with one of the nodes that they had attacked, that it's possible that this signal was faked, that it didn't come from his father, and that this might all be a plan for control to get a hold of some nukes, and possibly bring about the end of the world type kind of scenario using these enhanced spirit nukes that reside within Altered Earth. So, our party has decided that they are going to be going to the next node, and instead of destroying it or alongside of destroying it, at the very least, they're going to be using it to try and contact Tycho's father. So let's go ahead and kind of get started here, and we'll just do a round of introductions. So, Tycho, go ahead and start us off here.
So I am Tycho Vance, the son of legendary adventurer Buck Samsonite, who allegedly contacted us recently from Altered Earth, which is behind a shield that he theoretically created. I am 26. I can't remember how old I am. 27, probably. Years old, white guy, short blonde hair, kind of lanky, and I wear a lot of metallics, lots of retro futuristic kind of outfits. So I grew up here at the Construct in Madison, where my mother is also the director of research and execution. And I was awakened at a young age, after which my father disappeared. And I went on an adventure with some werewolves from about the time I was 18. And when I got back after a tragedy, my mom got me a job on Technogate 42, which now it looks like Control manipulated the entire thing. So, there's that.
Fuck Control. Um, okay, Phaedra, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Phaedra is a 27-year-old black female. She's originally from Las Vegas, raised by her single mother, who was a stripper. When she was, I think, 18, her mother was murdered by this guy called Muddin, which she then went on a manhunt for. That's how she got up here to Wisconsin, joined the technocracy with this group. Ended up finally being able to do him in. She usually wears a white blouse, black slacks, a fanny pack, and a lab coat, hair all disheveled. She is the progenitor of the group, so she's usually the scientist.
Awesome, thank you, Phaedra. And Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Robert Kell, first appearances, just a mild-mannered average guy. Worked for the NWO for years, as he had been brought in at a young age and showed a lot of potential. Typically was used for, missions against tradition mages, that kind of thing, infiltrating information. And then was one day told that he was going to be joining this Technogate group and kind of seeing what's going on there. Ever since then, he's been kind of having his world shook until recently coming to the revelation that he does not trust Control anymore. About 5'10", average height, average build, always wears a suit, glasses, always carrying his briefcase. But otherwise, yeah, wouldn't be able to pick him out of a crowd.
Awesome, yeah, and that's the first time we got to hear like the real background on Robert Kell's character. So he has turned himself in and told the group that he has been spying on them. However, he hasn't been relaying any. He's just been kind of silent surveillance at this point, where it's pretty much just whatever is inside of the mission reports is really what's kind of going on. But he has recently been contacted and informed that Control is starting to get worried and wants Robert to start controlling the group to ensure that they complete their mission of destroying these nodes and to do everything in his psychological capacities that he has in order to influence the group in that direction. So this might all just be part of the plan, I guess, you know. That's an evil thing for me to throw out there. And then Malachi, tell us a little bit about your character. Also a plant, possibly by the Control. So,
obvious one if that's the case. Growing up as in a military lifestyle, military family, Malachi joined up with the Air Force right out of high school at 18. Did a 5-year stint with them. Ended up re-signing up with the Technocracy for his second stint. They noticed his effectiveness with combat rifle and proficiency with power systems. Making some friends in a hacker maker space group that he probably shouldn't have. Got him in some hot water. They were reality deviants, and he ended up getting laterally repositioned into being the head of security for the civilian team TG-42. He is 6 foot tall, Caucasian male, dark hair, dark eyes, generally seen in jeans and a t-shirt, lightweight jacket. He is just now waiting on just trying to keep these guys safe while he closes out his contract.
Awesome. All right. So, you guys are have been gathered and kind of have given are going to be given the briefing on what the next mission is. So when you guys arrive at the conference room, there's like center table with all the big screens up everywhere. And there seems to be some pictures that are on the wall. There are on the different screens. One of the screens shows you a picture of what looks to be like almost Tron-like looking like corridors that it's kind of going down and analyzing and seems to be going up to different like doors and analyzing the door and kind of putting like a label on it. One of the labels that you see is Spy's Demise is like the first thing that kind of flashes as you guys kind of walk in. The next one is a map, or what looks to be like a large field of dots that are like kind of three-dimensionally laid out with some like lines drawn between them. And then there's another screen that you show that kind of goes in and you see what looks to be like a star system with a tactical like overlay of different objects that are kind of in the star system, like moons and planets and stuff like that. So as you guys kind of gather in and sit down, the general hands out hands out portfolios to you guys and says, "We have located the third node and have discovered that it is inside of the digital web. There are 2 avenues that we have discovered as to how we can possibly get to where this node is inside of the digital web. We have localized it to one of the data clusters inside of the digital web that is called the star cluster. We have discovered that there's a possible hacking back door that we might be able to access in order to get to the node inside of the mainframe of the of this construct. However, there is also the game itself that you can play in order to try and get to the area that this is located. So the back door area, the hacking route, you'll have to be going through the digital web itself using the different corridors inside of the digital web. You can either go in through a VR gear, or you can physically go there using the Technogate. Be aware that it is, of course, always more dangerous to be physically located inside of the digital web, but you might have some bonuses, or you might prefer your meat to your digital avatar, and how you can kind of interact with stuff inside of the digital web. These backdoor corridors will be filled with booby traps and different kind of hacking algorithms that you'll have to do in order to bypass and access the back door and the main root command line, basically, of the digital web, in order to manipulate and get yourself to the location of the node. The other way is by taking, you can either go in using the spaceship that you have, or you can get a digital avatar inside of the video game that this node presides inside of. So it's a spaceship, and you'll have to take a route through space, taking multiple jumps, and there's possibilities of getting attacked along the way. You can also choose to do both of these if you want to split the group up into two. Any questions?
I think that's pretty straightforward.
Do we see any drawbacks to only going in with our digital avatars?
The drawbacks kind of the digital avatars is that instead of, you use your mental traits instead of your regular traits, you're definitely not as hard-coded into the system, so let me bring up the exact statements on the differences between the different states of being inside of the digital web here real quick. 1 second. I know one thing is that when you're in your meat, if you're like a werewolf and stuff like that, you can do your transforming and stuff like that. If you've enhanced yourself physically, all that kind of stuff goes over, but if you're just going in mentally, it's all based on your mental stats.
I mean, I'd rather go physically.
Same.
I'd rather not. But I have a feeling
And
we'll be
hearing
more
that
effective.
it's mostly based on mind power, I'm feeling like I could be okay there.
Well, no, it's if you're there virtually, you use your mental stats instead of
Yeah.
your physicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in which case I definitely would rather be there. Never mind.
I was
All right.
surprised you were leading that way.
Well, I was thinking that if we're not in there, then we can't die and therefore safe, although we have
That's
a high
true.
chance of failure. But it's too important. I think we gotta go.
Okay.
We gotta be present and then hope for the best.
Well, I'm definitely not playing the game by myself, so disregard my previous question. We're going in.
You can still play the game through going physically there, because then you would take the spaceship that you guys have.
Is it a game that I've heard of before?
No, it's basically like it's basically an MMORPG spaceship kind of game. It's very similar to, I'm basing it around like the concepts of like a beta Eve that existed way before even existed, and it's more of like a thing that's restricted to. Oh, well, your character might know a little bit about this. Do a intelligence plus. Do you have contacts?
I got, depending on where you want to come from, I got rank.
Well, you have those other reality hacker deviants that might know something. So just give me a straight intelligence. It's just a memory check here. Difficulty of 5.
All right, this will go very well. Tens greater than 5 fail equals 1. Yeah. 1 success.
All right. So with 1 success, one of your reality deviant hacker buddies used to play this game. It's
Okay.
basically just something that's the virtual adepts built, and it's just a little digital playground for them to go and blow up NPCs or each other.
Was there ever any real danger?
Inside of the game, it's formatted around the concept that you're an immortal, so you'll respawn at a station of your designation. You can kind of like set yourself at different stations.
Okay.
So as you guys go along your route, you can basically save the location that you guys are at.
Is it as addicting as World of Warcraft?
Yeah,
I did
especially
have
for virtual adepts.
I lost a friend to World of Warcraft back in 5 years in the future from this game. So
5 years from now, there's gonna be a video game that I'm gonna lose a buddy to.
it's actually probably based on this one, and they made it more ready for the average people. Just took the space out of it.
Well, this is a space game, right?
This is a space game, yep, like spaceship game. Pirates and people shooting each other.
Hey, right, what you know.
I don't like the idea of splitting up.
I'd agree.
Unless if we want to take like 2 attacks against the same target from different angles, but we'd have to time it real accurately. It doesn't sound like sounds like a great way to be divided and then beaten.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing that I don't like is I assume there if we use some sort of VR gear to insert ourselves into the digital web, there is some sort of data stream that could theoretically be interrupted or possibly hacked.
And these are some of the differences between access. I did forget about some of the things about. So so sensory, just going in with your senses, requires VR setup only. So anybody can do this. +2 on all difficulties, including magic casting rolls. Intelligence equals strength, wits equals dex. Body is vulnerable, but slightly aware, as in the meat space body. You can go in astrally, which requires correspondence 2, which is basically going in with a more complex VR setup. You get intelligence plus computers or computers plus hacking, difficulty 7. You need 3 successes minimum in order to hack into the digital web astrally. Intelligence equals strength, wits equals dex, and leaves body vulnerable. Completely vulnerable, not aware at all. And then holistic, which is going in vulgarly as your actual body, requires life 4, forces 2, correspondence 2, and is vulgar, which you guys bypass with either your spaceship or the digital or the Technogate. Plus either a trinary computer or a complex VR setup. Difficulty 7, 5 successes needed for hacking, which you guys all ignore. Or you can climb in through the Umbra, Middle Umbra is accessed with a Dexterity plus Athletics roll or Cosmology, difficulty 7, and takes a long, with nice little italics, time. All traits remain normal, body present in web, but vulnerable to all attacks there.
So we can just take the ship there? Just
So
like flying?
Yep, so you guys can take the ship into the video game. You guys can go into the hacking corridors and hack your way through the different sectors of the digital web in order to access the backdoor mainframe of the video game itself in order to get you to the location that you're going for, or you can take the spaceship itself and jump through a little uh, travel game, basically, that you'll need to do.
Yeah, so we'll have the whole crew and everything.
Yeah.
And the node says that, or the the intelligence says that the node exists inside this game.
Right, yep. So the node is locked behind a special sector. So they've already sent scouts into the video game and kind of looked out, and they've kind of also sent scouts a little bit through and are trying to investigate the different backdoors to hack into it as well. But the initial reconnaissance that they got back is that it's located in a locked sector of the game that you have to basically ship a digital NPC from one location to another, and along the way you get attacked. And they haven't been able to defeat it, but they haven't done, it's just been nobody's really tried very hardly. It's all the neonates. They also have not taken in an experimental, powerful spaceship from the real space into it. They've been using like the fucking trainee frigates that they've got, but they've also amassed enough in-game currency for you guys to get a decent destroyer to try and make the run.
Do we have to take an NPC to the location of the door?
To the space or to a solar system, and then then he'll allow you to get access to the store. The NPC gives you access to the gate needed in order to access the solar system, and then he'll also give you access to the station that allows for you to dock where the node is digitally located there.
Have they actually implemented the code for walking around in the stations?
Yes. Yeah,
Ask about that all the time.
I made an in-universe joke. Barely.
Yeah, it was in the beta. They took it out as soon as it got to the...
But in this one, you can walk around in the stations.
But this one, you can walk around inside the station.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot some people with my fucking laser gun.
Oh yeah, it's a full this is definitely like this is more than the MMORPG that exists in the real, and it's something that's there's a whole like game that's being played here by the different virtual adepts and the MIB, and everybody's kind of invited into here to play different kind of weird games and stuff, and nobody knows like who created it, and some speculate that Turning might have created it. Just let you know, this is all something I've created myself, so you can't find it in any books until I publish it. No.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any problem with ramming a spaceship into a video game?
Only one, and that is
Only one. Wow.
There's one big one. If we bring the ship into a game where there's a certain subset of activities that involve blowing up spaceships, and we end up on the receiving end of said activity, our ship isn't going to respawn. Or it won't take any damage because I feel like it's just not going to respawn. That's a concern.
So that is a good question. From my understanding is if you guys would go into the meat space or go in using your meat, and your metal of your spaceship, you can still conform to the rules of the digital web. I would definitely like a sector. I would definitely allow for that. That would be probably like a magic roll to a certain extent. I wouldn't let a normal human be able to be thrown into the digital web and be like, oh, I'm just gonna format myself to the way that the sector is set up so that I can obey or I'll like obey all of the rules. Um, but to a certain degree, I think that that is something that's still part of like owning your own. Like having a sector is like if you guys would go into like fish, there's like this uh lots of fish or something like that, I think is one of the sectors. And if you would go there, you guys would turn into fish. You would just be a big giant, like shark or whatever inside of your spaceship, or minnows when you guys got out. Um, so I think that there is definitely, and that's I'm just trying to like convey for the audience or anybody or that anybody wants to play this properly. In this case, I am going to make it so that you guys will respawn. Um, your spaceship, however, will not respawn.
So we
Oh no.
do we take a good ship and risk it, or do we pick up a destroyer on the way into the game with the funds that were provided for us? But then we won't have our crew and we won't have our facilities that make us better.
Well, if we pick up a destroyer, we just put our ship in the loading dock.
Yeah, you could still go in the meat, and your crew would still respawn as well. It just is none of the items themselves would respawn. That would all just explode and drop.
What happens to our vampire guy?
He's
You'd
floating in space.
He'd respawn.
He respawns.
And they also
No.
do a quick tox clean, and he wakes up.
Yeah, that might be a problem though. That you could always ditch him on Earth before you.
I don't know.
We get arrested for sneaking a vampire into the digital web.
It's possibly the greatest origin story for why you meet a super powerful Melkavian in the digital web. Like, well, I was kidnapped by some technocrat that came here on a spaceship.
They got blown up. And now here I am, stuck in outer space.
Wait, so if our ship gets destroyed, if we respawn, where would the respawn point be? Would it be in the middle of space? Do we just constantly keep respawning because we die?
No, you would respawn on a station.
Okay.
You would basically come out of. You're basically this might interest you actually, is that the idea behind it is that you're a clone. So basically you're just moving your consciousness and to a different clone when you die. It's all digital.
Well, that's fun.
This is Borderlands? Are we playing Borderlands?
Kind of, yeah. That's kind of the thing, except for that you would lose all of your items when you die.
Instead of money, it's everything.
Yep.
It's hardcore mode world. Yeah.
Would we be naked?
No, you can start with your clothes.
There's a default spacesuit that you'd get.
Yeah. So if my father hid the node here, that means that this space in the digital web has been around for well over 20 years, probably longer.
Yeah, it basically was created sometime around Alan's Turning's death.
Cool.
So not long after the digital web was created, basically. And it's gone through many evolutions and started with probably just a few dozen people. Now it's grown to like a couple hundred.
Cool. So it's just a fun place to go in the digital webs.
All right, I'm going to vote. We take our ship and our bodies to the space station. We then get into the destroyer. We leave the ship at the dock with the crew to guard it. We get in the destroyer, we take the destroyer. That way, if it does get blown up, we're not losing our ship.
Yeah, don't want to lose the ship.
It's my lab.
Once we're at the station, because I assume we're gonna jump in and then we got to fly to the station, or is that wrong? Is that right?
When you guys jump in, you'll be starting at the station. Especially if you take your ship that you're jumping, you'll start basically at the spaceship. You'll be right outside of the station that you need to start your mission at.
Okay.
Otherwise,
It's the station where we start the mission.
Right. You start the mission, you pick up the NPC, and then you guys head. The 10 jumps that it takes in order for you guys to get there.
Man, I'm not sure I want to leave the ship behind. It's going to be more powerful than anything else that we could get, right? Well, that depends. I don't know what we can get.
I guess we could check some stats once we get there. But
yes, if you guys, you can check some stats right now. So on the board, the general kind of brings up the different spaceships that you have access to. And the first one that they show is basically your spaceship, which has like insane good tracking for its turrets. It has, decent shields, solid armor that self-repairs. And we'll start off with a massive boost to repairing at the beginning of it. It's very agile and has a special jump drive of its own that allows it to if you can do some mechanics with this, but you guys probably won't use it, but it's possible you could if you wanted to, though, depending on what happens in the coming up. In any case, you can use another spaceship in the game in order to light a beacon for you, and you'll be able to jump to that beacon even if it's in another solar system. So what you could do is go there, some of the way with like a smaller ship and test some stuff out, and maybe even get blown up along the way and not have to worry about. But if you get, to a certain point, you could light a thing and then your crew could jump in to save you or to teleport you off. There are different kind of mechanics that you guys could use the jump drive that you have on your destroyer. So that's the first one. The second one that it shows you has an extremely high alpha with pretty bad tracking. It's fairly fast, has almost no shields and no armor, and is just basically a punch you in the face spaceship. It's like a raider destroyer. The next one after that is a very short range, has a little bit of self-repairing armor, and has quite a big punch to it. Like, it's a pretty high damage kind of boat, but it's extremely short range. And then the last one that you have is an extremely fast, long range missile boat that basically doesn't have as much damage as the other ones at all, but has the other one, like one is at about 10-kilometer range. The Raider ship is much more of a like 20-kilometer range, and then this ship has like a 55-kilometer range. Your ship would have around a 40-kilometer range. So this has a little bit longer range, but your ship has about like 5 times the damage that this ship puts out.
I think I have an idea. So the general has told us that the way that we unlock this place is we have to do this mission that's like some sort of scripted thing.
Yes, inside of the video game. Seems to be
Okay.
something that your father built.
Have they determined whether or because part of the script is that when you're taking this person to the other place, you get attacked along the way, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So they have tried the
So-
mission too and failed.
Yeah, they've tried it.
And it changed each time. It's not the same attack each time. It's a different kind of, advancing algorithm that kind of bases it based upon whatever. It seems to know a little bit about what you're using, so it's not necessarily better to have the best ship in the game, or well, I'm sorry, bigger is not better. If you go with bigger ships,
Yeah.
they'll send bigger ships.
Okay. So I'm just throwing this out there. What if we get to the station, we get off our ship, acquire one of the other ships, initiate the mission, right? And then as we go with the in-universe ship, we have our ship follow. So when we get attacked, there's just a possibility that our ship can kind of tip it in our favor. The only problem might be that breaks the rules of the scenario.
From your understanding, is that it might bring in an escalation to a certain degree. They have done the thing of they have tried using a fleet in order to do it, and they noticed that what comes at you is a bigger fleet, basically. They're also hoping that, I mean, you're probably there's a hint that you kind of get on this, that you're thinking that, well, if you do it, it might be a little bit different too because of the way that it's coded, but it does seem like it's maybe even accomplishable without the special sauce that you bring to the table. But the basis of it is that you could do something like that, but the game might react to that. So the game is going to be reactive to whatever you're doing to try and stop you. And it's one of those that it kind of feels like this game is just fucking cheating. Like, that's the reason why, so far all their attempts is like whatever they brought, it brought, the counter to that. Which is why they're, very focused also on the backdoor hacking of the going through the digital web, which is definitely harder because this is such an ancient thing that nobody knows who the fuck built it. So there's still like a whole process that you guys will have to do for that.
So the backdoor hacking, that doesn't go through the space simulator at all?
Right. So that usurps the space simulator completely, and basically will have you doing a journey through the digital web to go through different kind of restricted corridors that exist throughout the digital web in order to access a backdoor, like a digital three-dimensional backdoor that you'll have to. It's basically a different video game that you'll have to play. More of a Tron kind of thing.
All right, so I'm back on board with taking our ship. I think we can, or I am uniquely positioned to be effective at repairing it in the digital web with prime and matter.
Oh.
And so
Yeah.
when we do get into on one hand, I could seal up the suit so it's space worthy and then just get some thrusters on there and just fly over to the other ship and just freaking, but, or not at a 10-kilometer range though. Yeah, I think that, is there boarding mechanics in this game, or have they not implemented that yet?
Oh yeah, there's totally boarding mechanics in the game.
That makes it a little worse. I mean, at least if a pirate comes up on us and is a good pirate, they're gonna see the special ship that we're in, and they're not gonna blow it up, but they're gonna want to steal it for themselves. So, they're not just gonna blow us out of the sky. One thing that you did mention was a second ship that we could recall to.
Yes.
so-
So That's the
Could it be
yeah.
possible?
There's a beacon that your ship has the ability to use a jump drive, very similar to what you guys do, just normally to get around.
Yeah, yep.
Because that's basic. But inside of the game, you will have to use a beacon in order to be lit by another ship. It's kind of like how you guys are going to be getting into the game. Is that another ship, one of your other, operatives and stuff like that, because they don't know what they're doing. They just think they're playing the game at this point. And they've been commissioned to assist you in this. So it's I would say it's the NWO division that's currently working in this. And actually, there might be some contacts inside of the gray uh, suits inside of this game, because a lot of the gray suits use this as like a training ground in order to infiltrate different virtual adept groups, because there's a bunch of spying that's fucking happening in this game.
So is it possible we could have a ship with a beacon on it behind us that if we get fuckered up, we could make a quick jump back
yes,
and
you
just
can do that.
to get away? I
Absolutely.
mean, my experience with these things, they're not going to stop chasing us until we complete the encounter. But at least that way we can get ourselves back and maybe get a minute to fix things if things are going god awful. I think those two satisfy risk and risk versus performance pretty well. We'll have our ship with our bonuses and our locations, and if things go to hell, we can at least get back and then maybe throw the NPC out the airlock, and maybe that'll stop it. Then we'd have to go pick them up again if we want to do the quest. But
It's like if our ship is about to die, we just automatically fail the mission and the attack stops.
it doesn't necessarily. It depends on how they wrote it. Sometimes that is. Other times the encounter goes until you defeat it or your ship blows up, and then that's the way that the encounter stops. And I have a
Which, if
feeling
that's
with
the
this.
case, that'd be great, because then we could go in with a smaller ship, get back, get our ship, and then still have to deal with the smaller event.
Like you load the enemies, but at a low level, and then you go away, you level up, and you come back, and the enemies are still just loaded as they were when you first walked into that space.
Yeah, it's supposedly an old game.
Yeah,
That'd be how I cheat the system.
I was asking about that before, because that was my idea, where we come in with a ship and then use our ship to come in afterwards. The universe was basically like it's adaptive. It seems to actually adapt to everything.
Yeah, and it could be worse, where like you have to deal with the smaller scenario and then a bigger scenario on top of that.
Yeah, because there's like one for each ship or something. Yeah, that. I think we got to go and we try it with ours. We keep that backup option of just getting the fuck out of Dodge. And if things go real poorly, we can reevaluate if we want to try to go through the back doors. I just have a feeling that
I am kind of curious about the backdoor route, just because we could probably gain information on who made this thing, or secrets. But
my biggest turn off to the backdoor route is it's like once we go through the first door, we're going to be trespassing the entire time. Like it would be challenging to at least in this game, we're doing just whatever, we're just trying to get this mission objective, we're trying to get this achievement. Only 0.06% of players have ever gotten it. But if we go in the back doors and we're just like meandering through some hallways, and then all of a sudden a security guard's just like, "Hey, there's not supposed to be people back here," then that's like a law enforcement. But who is the law on the digital web? Do we know?
The digital web is depending on what sector that you're in. The corridors don't really have the law, but they follow like the laws of the digital web. But the different sectors of it's basically the digital web is manifestation of all of the servers that exist in the world. And the people that own the servers per se aren't owning the digital web out there that it created in the Umbra basically, but mages that find these sectors, they call them white space, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's a you can do. Yeah.
Yep, and
Sorry,
then you
go
can
ahead.
format the sector to whatever you want it to be, and you can have it built up all around all different kind of rules that you want to have, and you become kind of the admin of that, and then you can give out admin access. I mean, it's very much if you've read Snow Crash or if you've watched Johnny Mnemonic, Shadowrun, bunch of other anything that deals with the digital web is very this steals all of that shit.
So if we're going to take the backdoor route, would it be a fair analogy to say that the game system is like a giant warehouse, and each server is its own building, but the streets themselves are the corridors, and we'll be traveling around the streets trying to find the right door?
Correct. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Okay, and the streets are not. It's just international waters. It's no man's land basically. For in terms of it, nobody owns it, so then nobody controls it, but everybody owns their doorway to it,
Correct.
and obviously the inside. Okay.
Yep. Once you've, or you can find through those corridors, you might find the white space, which will allow you to format your own sector. Or a back door, like what you guys are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You also might find corridors that are only connected between different corridors, so you might have to go through different sectors in order to get to different corridors that give you access to different areas of different sectors, if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
It's a very it's the concept of trying to give you a physical manifestation of what you thought hacking would be and what hackers kind of showed you and shit like that, but it's not what hacking is at all.
Yeah. Fucking hackers. Great movie. All right.
Damn
I guess do we have do we want to take a vote? Do we want to toss out pros and cons? How do you guys want to approach it? It doesn't sound near as bad as I was initially thinking. I thought that we were going to be like roaming around in the hallways in between the stores in a mall, where it's like, yeah, you can't just be back behind the stores.
You can if you have a clipboard.
That's clipboard and a hat.
A ladder.
Yeah, maybe a polo too. Yeah, definitely. Or I mean, it seems that like it's going to be more of a challenge of we're going to have to find our way, and then we are going to have to cross through some servers that could be very strange.
You'll also have to do some hacking. Like that's going to be one of the. Does anybody have really good hacking skills?
What is that, computer, or is that a specific skill?
So you can have specific with hacking, which gives you -2 on hacking difficulties, and then you can have computer adept, which makes you an ungodly true hacker, which is what hackers are basically in the game, is people that just get -4 to all their difficulties when using computers to hack. Or yeah, you can use computer at I think it's like difficulty 8 for most hacking roles to a certain degree.
Well, we were present there.
Well, 6 and 7 happen too.
I don't have any dots in computer.
I got 2.
I have 2.
I have 2.
I'm wondering if it's going to be intelligence or if it's going to be dexterity. If we're actually physically present there.
If you're actually physically there, it is dexterity and stuff like you. So that's the other thing too, is that it's a different kind of hacking that you'll have to be doing. You know, it might be physical. You know, you might have to play a Tron type kind of game in order to hack through the system. So you might have to do a bike race in order to like get to the door before it closes. You know, type stuff.
Okay. Or like a portal where you got to put the box here and then that does this, and then you can. Okay, little puzzles. I have a 6-die pool for that. And I have I have 8.
Well, it might be strength. It might be intelligence though too. I mean, it can all vary basically.
So
becomes a 4-die pool for intelligence. So I'm going to leave that to somebody else for those particular challenges.
Okay. We could split up.
When does
So
it ever go well, though?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we're
I'm tempted to this time, but
Because, like, it could be me and Robert doing the back channels and Tycho and Malachi going through the game.
And I was thinking about that from the perspective of your goal. Instead of getting like a backdoor all the way there, you take a backdoor to the encounter and then change the encounter that's supposed to happen. So basically, instead of like one ship with all these enemies, it's one ship, one marine, and a bunch of civilians that are just running around. It's like a science vessel or something. Just kind of change the what's going to happen in that fight encounter.
Lower the difficulty.
Yeah, and that might be easier to do than to try to get all the way into the actual like restricted sector that this node is there and protected. Just an idea. I'm not.
That's possibly a lot of flipping back and forth.
Could we potentially do both from the ship, where your bodies are on the ship, and you're doing the back door?
Yeah, technically, you could Inception the living shit out of this.
Because I'm just thinking, if there's a button I can push to wake you up if shit is hitting the fan and we need help, on the ship, that might be violent.
Set up a monitor so you can see us walking through the hallways.
And
Oh, wait. That's perfect. If we can enter the digital web using the virtual stuff from our ship inside the digital web is basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're all on the ship the whole time, but Malachi and I are doing the mission, and Phaedra and Ricky are doing the back door. But we're all in the same room. But we're also elsewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
it
I
will
like
be
it.
a lot of switching back and forth, but
Now, are you sure that's the teams that we should make? Do we not want one person who could be the muscle inside the corridors, just in case?
Well, we're going to be there virtually, so isn't the muscle our intelligence or wits or something?
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
yeah, I feel my greatest utility is going to be my Arret pool rolling Matter 2 Prime 3 ship. That's and maybe overcharging one of the laser turrets or occasionally, but I feel like that's going to be where I'll be best at.
I mean, to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with it because although you're splitting up the group, the truth is especially when we're doing it over this, it's a lot of like, okay, Tycho, you need to talk now and do your stuff. Okay, Phaedra, you need to talk now and do because we can't all talk at the same time at all. Like, there's no like it's not like in person. So splitting up I mean, truthfully, you all four could go off in completely four different directions, and there's not a whole bunch that changes gameplay wise. It's still gonna be Tycho.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, just more descriptions is pretty much it.
Yeah, more trying to
and more for
explain
you to
what's going.
track.
Yeah, more for me to track too. Absolutely. Two is I'd be preferably at that. I prefer you to always stick together, of course, but I'm totally okay with you guys splitting up, especially in this scenario, because there might not be much for somebody to do on a spaceship.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to the ship and get any prep done that we need to do.
All right, I think that this is a good little stopping point here then for the first break that we're going to be taking. So we will be back in, we'll say 10 minutes. So 8:20 Central Time, we will be back. And we will, at that time, prepare a little bit more, I think, on exactly what you guys are going to be doing for who's going where, but I think we already have basically that whole concept. We'll probably just jump right into the digital web after we confirm everything. All right, so we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mage the Ascension Technogate 1999. We are back and we are just about to head into the digital web. We are doing a two-pronged attack here. So we have Malachi, who is going to be manning the spaceship and kind of commanding from the meat realm, which is going to be really interesting because they're going to jump the spaceship into the digital web. From there, they're going to activate the mission that they need to in this virtual game that they're going to be playing. And they're going to be taking this NPC charter from one system to another, and he'll be able to activate and open up the gates that they need in order to get there, as well as, or the gate needed in order to get to the final star system, as well as the ability to dock in the station that they need. But there's also a backdoor that they're hoping to get into using the digital web's corridors, and the backdoor hacking that they might be able to do in order to get direct access to the mainframe that will allow them to just unlock this solar system and just basically teleport themselves to the node that's inside of the station in one of these solar systems that's locked behind a game inside of this virtual game. In any case, Phaedra, Tycho, and Robert will be accessing the digital web's corridors and different sectors of the digital web in order to try and hack into the into the mainframe. And then we'll have Malachi, who will be playing the actual game. But he'll be physically there, and they'll be virtually there, while still physically in the digital web. It's very confusing, but believe me, it works. All right, so you guys, we'll start off with you guys arriving on the starship in the docking bay of Technogate. You guys are all getting all of your stuff all together. You guys have 3 virtual reality sets. So when you guys are going in, you're going to be going in astrally, is that correct? Or are you guys going to be going in with just sensory? Astral requires data 2 or correspondence 2.
The ship should be able to take care of that, right? If one of us has correspondence 1.
I have correspondence 3, so I got you.
Yeah, she should be able to extend that over to you a little bit, especially if you have correspondence of 1, I'll allow it.
Also, can we have 4 setups?
Yes, absolutely. Just in case that you need.
Just in case.
Yep. All right, so let me just double check something here real quick.
Are we going
man.
to all be on the same Discord server while they're in there and I'm on the ship?
We can just be on the same Discord server. Or same channel here. That's fine.
So we can talk to each other.
And you guys, can also talk to each other. Have a communication set up, so then you'll have like a monitor that will allow you to see what's going on there, and you guys can open up a window in the digital web in order to see what's going on with your spaceship in the video game.
Okay, cool.
So what do you guys think? Matrix chair or the Borg thing from Voyager?
If you guys are gonna go astral with the help of the ship, I think you're gonna have to definitely do kind of a matrixy kind of like jamming, something into your spinal cord kind of thing.
Don't worry, I can fix it later.
But if you're just using, you might be able to get away with like a Borg-like chamber if you. But I like the idea of, yeah, it's like a full-on, something that like drills into the back of you and you kind of like, it's not just you can just easily detach yourself and you're like, why would it matter if you got away? Well, it'll mess up the brain. No, it's absolutely obvious why you do not just get up. You have something attached to your spinal cord.
All right. Should we initiate the mission first and then inject ourselves, or the other way around? Wow, everybody's thinking real hard about that one.
Um,
I
that's a-
guess start the mission first.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
It's in
makes
that way, like
sense, I
if
think.
if something goes wrong, the spawn point thing could still happen.
Yeah, the other thing I'm thinking, because we're still physically going to be on the ship, so we could all, as players, initiate the thing. Because the one thing I'm worried about is, maybe if we don't all initiate the mission, we all won't be able to get into the thing at the end. That is just wild speculation on my part.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And if there's a thing like it was in the dreaming where the difficulty lowered because you were there, if we're plugged in, it might not register that you are here. So start the mission first.
Yeah. All right. To the digital web.
All right, so you guys go ahead and get onto the spaceship. You guys get all situated. You guys are set up so that you guys can jack into the digital web when you want virtually, with a little bit of an astral travel to the corridors. But you're first going to enter into the game using the spaceship. So basically, the spaceship that you guys have kind of takes off, opens up a portal with the big black hole generator that it has at the very center of its bird-like body, and opens up a portal in front of it and jumps through. You guys are kind of ripped through space and you end up on the other side, and you guys see what looks like, you're in the middle of deep space. You see a giant star off in the distance, a beautiful planet with this would be we'll go with a continental like kind of planet with a standard atmosphere. It looks very Earth-like, kind of hanging up off in the distance. And before you see station that's kind of looks like it's got all kind of different kind of things kind of jutting off from it, different billboards and stuff like that are advertising different corporations, different activities, drugs and sex. um, and then you have a little beacon that tells you that you can go ahead and dock inside of the station.
Take it in, Captain.
All right, so the spaceship goes in, lands. There's a couple other spaceships that are docked here as well. Um, there's a As you guys kind of land, there's a open area where kind of people are kind of meeting and talking and stuff like that. There's a bunch of NPCs kind of walking around in all different shapes and sizes. Basically, it's the theme for icons here is kind of themed towards space. So any kind of space kind of creature or um, space monsters kind of work as well to a certain degree. But for the most part, it's humanoid, is what your kind of icon is kind of restricted to. As you guys kind of dock up, there is a kind of readout that you guys kind of get on your guys' displays. You can interact with this or kind of pull up a holographic one if you have correspondence of. You get +1 in the digital web for correspondence. So you would only need a base of 2 in order to kind of pull up this like digital display HUD of different kind of things you can interact with the market here and stuff like that. Or you can use the display hubs on the computer itself. And then this kind of will give you a list of all the different kind of missions and stuff like that that you can accept. And there is a special, golden mission that you can select in order to take on the dangerous job of accessing the most powerful item inside of the game. Basically, is what it kind of talks about.
Wait, have a lot of people tried this?
Yes, there seems to be like kind of like a board of people that have attempted it, and nobody has succeeded at it.
Can we do some research? People must have
Absolutely.
been talking about it.
Yeah. How do you want to do that? Go about that.
Read the forums.
Okay, go ahead and give me an intelligence, or well, go ahead and give me a wits plus either investigation or computer.
It's investigation. That's not bad. All right, at difficulty 6, I have 6 successes.
You're using up all your good rolls already.
Right?
It's the first roll of the night. That's nice.
All right, so what kind of information are you specifically looking for?
Like, what's the structure of the mission? How long has it been around? Speculation on who wrote it. Speculation on the item at the end. And then kind of in depth further into the encounter.
Okay, so
And,
the lore kind of behind it is basically that since this game was developed, there is a special locked sector, solar system that has been locked away that nobody can gain access to. It's supposed to have all the richest minerals and all the, best spawns for different kind of NPCs for you to farm, and this is supposed to be this beautiful like perfect system that if you could gain access to, you'd be able to make the rest of your life here. You'd also gain access to the special station that exists there, and that's basically the special item. And this station is supposed to have it's self-powered. It gives a whole bunch of different stuff. It has a market and all this other stuff, and it basically just gives you like this special station that you'd get to own in the game. That would be inside of this area. And if you
Called
got there,
El
you
Dorado.
would be able to kind of lock it, and only people who completed the mission would be able to get there. So it is one of those things that the first person there kind of probably gains a lot of ownership over it, but not necessarily is the only person that can get there. Because if other people do the mission, they can get there as well. There at this time there are no recorded successes of reaching there. Actually, I take that back. There would be the one recorded action of your father getting there.
oh, okay.
It doesn't
What
say
was his
your
gamer
father,
handle?
of course. The gamer handle for it was pretty obvious though, because it was or it would be like Space Samsonite.
No, his handle was Big Buck.
Big Buck. There you go. Tycho
Lovely.
immediately identifies it. Um, so yeah, so your research into it definitely gives you this idea that there's your father is the only person that kind of has achieved this. And from what your understanding is that he's probably taken the node that exists there and used it in order to power. Instead of using it for the video game, he's using it to power this shield. Um, So the history though kind of behind it besides that is that it's completely adaptive. Everybody's tried it from gangs of people. What they've kind of noticed is that solo is much easier. The more that you bring, the more that you need to be perfectly coordinated. So being an individual and doing it perfectly is much easier than coordinating 10 people to do it all perfectly. So the concepts has been trying to do it solo is the only way that people believe it is actually accomplishable. But it varies greatly depending on different things. They also say that the AI is kind of coded so that they give you different things. Like they might give you a distress signal. It might be something that jumps you and that's what gets you and blows you up. But it also might be something that's really important and needed for you save somebody and then they'll come and help you later on in the mission itself. And some people say that the distress calls overall and kind of the doing generosity acts seem to be the things that will get you further in the game and get more bonuses to the game, but it's absolutely a crapshoot. It's very possible that that is what's going to uh, get you killed because it's just a complete and utter decoy or a trap basically set for you.
Mm. So it sounds like I should try to do the mission solo.
And what they mean by solo is by one starship.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we can all enter the mission then.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, I assume it's a well-known NPC. Let's just go talk to him.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's two ways of doing it. You can go virtually and into the station and actually, quote unquote, digitally physically talk to the icon, or you can use the HUD in order to interact with the menu. I'll let, but it seems like you're going to go physically to him, quote unquote, physically.
Yeah, physically. Just gonna walk off the ship.
Okay. Awesome. So you guys walk off the ship. There's like the main
Just
kind of
bay.
like landing bay area where there's a bunch of kind of like people that are walking around. Most of them are NPCs. Um, there's like a person that kind of comes up and asks you if you'd like to have your ship cleaned and refueled and any kind of upgrades that you would like to get. There's some stuff on the black market that just went on sale.
Uh, General impression of the dude. He
Um,
seems shady.
He seems like a engineer NPC, but it is kind of coded to kind of be an advertisement, and you get the sense that the black market statement is more of a kind of trying to catch you rather than a this is an illicit action.
You want to buy some illegal shit? Sure. Gotcha.
Gotcha. That's illegal.
You're under arrest.
But it also could have been. That's a good point, though, because it is possible that you've heard tales of people, basically coming up and scamming the living shit out of other people that are new to the game.
All right, let's just go talk to this guy unless anybody has any other things they want to do.
No, I'm curious to see who this is and kind of what he's got.
All right. So you guys head off into the bar area where the NPC, it shows on like your HUD that there's a that's the location of where the NPC is sitting at the bar. When you guys enter in, there's like a dance floor filled with a bunch of different kind of crazy creatures and humanoid looking lizard folk and three-headed humans and all other assortment of aliens. Um, at the bar, you see a what looks to be like a robot-looking kind of 6 foot tall, you know, like square head, kind of almost kind of like almost out of the 80s, for like a robot kind of look. And then there's a couple other, kind of people at the table. But the NPC that you guys are looking for is in a suit, tie, black shades that he's wearing. He's got white hair. He looks to be maybe about like 60 years old, and kind of looks like your old, Men in Black looking kind of character.
Guy knows how to dress.
Hey, Robert, you know this guy?
No, but I think we'll get along okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask earlier. You ever do any missions in this game? I heard gray suits come
No.
here sometimes.
No, I can't say I've been around this area.
Do I believe him?
I don't know, do you?
Do you want me to roll anything? No, never mind. Fuck it.
Now I'll let you go with your gut instinct on that one. All right, so you guys are just gonna go up and start talking to him. How are you guys approaching him? All of you as like a big giant group gonna surround him.
I guess you guys want to flank me or something? I don't know. We just go up to him.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that I am not wearing the mech suit inside of the bar, or we don't need to show that off yet.
Okay, cool. Yep, it's gonna go under the radar. You notice that a lot of people are kind of like starting to take notice of you because you seem to be a little bit out of the normal icons, and it's usually has a pretty strict kind of code to
Is
it.
there a seat open nearby the guy?
There is a seat open by the guy, and nobody else is interacting with him at this point. You know that it can only be, there's also the statement that it can only be activated by one person at a time, and once they're on that mission, nobody else can interact with that. You have to steal the character away from that person.
You're up, Tycho.
Well,
Okay.
have Malachi do it because he's going to be the one dealing with him.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah.
Oh, there is, with the amount of successes you got with your investigation as well, I'm going to give you one other thing too. There is a group that is well known for also attempting to try and stop other players from doing this mission. It just is something that they do for kind of fun a lot of the times. And they don't try to complete the mission, they just try and stop it from happening. So they're trying to kill the courier.
Reefers.
Gankers, I knew it.
Good grief.
Do we? Okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit down next to him, and
how do we deal with that?
I was thinking about distracting them so they don't see us take the mission, but they might know anyway, just because of the fact that the guy leaves. And they might even know in general where we're headed, but it only is there for the quest taker, But
How easy is it to put bounties on people in this universe, and how much currency do we have access to?
I'm going to say that you guys have access to 100 million credits, and that it's extremely easy, as in button presses, in order to put a bounty on somebody's head.
How much is 100 million? Is that a lot, or is it a little?
It's it's some. It's a lot to some. A new player, it's a lot. To like an old timer, it's not a whole bunch.
I mean, we could just we could go get the vampire or de-res him, just so that we don't get in trouble for it. Joking. I mean, do we want to preemptively go after these guys, or do we want to just play it nice?
Or what you guys
No,
could do
let's-
is spend all of your time playing the video game, getting a bunch of money, so that you can.
Put a
Is this your
billion-dollar
backdoor
bounty.
way to get us to roleplay Eve?
No, yeah. So this is my way of actually turning Mondays into Eve Online, and we're just gonna play Eve Online until you guys get enough ISK.
Pretty soon he has characters for us that he's got all skilled out and stuff. We're just gonna act it out in the game. It's okay.
Okay. You guys haven't finished this part of the game yet, so as soon as we get out of the digital web.
I just need you to mine a little bit more for my corp.
All right.
Anyways, continue.
So let's just initiate the mission, because then we can find out about these assholes later. So
All right, so I'm gonna.
go ahead, Malachi.
I will go up to the guy and be like, "Hey, somebody told me that you were looking for some transport."
He looks over at you and says, "Well, hello, good sir. I am Mr. Smith, and yes, I am in search of a adventurer that would transverse me into the most dangerous part of this galactic core, or this side of the galactic core."
I'm picturing like a Fallout 4 dialogue tree options. Why is it dangerous?
He kind of says, "Oh, well, it is protected by the ancients that have that built this world. It is the lone system, and I have the key that allows me to open the Stargate that gets you there. But it is a long and dangerous journey in order to get to the location, and players as well as the ancients will be trying to attack you."
I really wanted to do skip, but I also didn't want to be rude. Skip dialogue. What's the next option? All right. What do you know about these ancients?
The ancients are the original creators of this star cluster.
What do you know about these marauders?
The Marauders are players that have thought out for the last 50 or so years to stop players from getting to the ancient system and acquiring the wealth that could stop their control over the great cluster that they have to this day.
All right. That I think we can work with that. All right. Yeah, I have a ship. It's down over here. Actually, I probably should walk you there. Do you need to pick anything up before we go?
No, good sir. I will accompany you immediately, if that is what you wish. I highly suggest bringing an extremely powerful combat ship.
Oh, I got a dinghy. It'll be a little tight with two of us in there, but we'll be fine. I'd have a gun on it, but then it'd weigh too much. Wouldn't be able to get off the ground. Follow me.
Sounds good. And he stands up and carries a briefcase that he's got locked to his handcuffed to his arm with him. Kind of clutches it.
I checked my research. Has anybody tried to take the briefcase?
Yes, people have tried killing him or coercing him. The closest is there. It's rumored that he will play games of chance or games of poker, and have been rumored that he might wager at some point deep into the game a the briefcase.
Something.
It's something. Yeah, I have a
But if
feeling
you
that.
if you kill him, it ends. Doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
just despawns and comes
if you
back to the station.
separate, if you like take bolt cutters to the chain on the handcuffs to the briefcase, it just
It's
once
like
they're separated, it immediately ends the quest. Quest failed.
it's like, oh, he was the key the whole time.
It's inside of him. I open him up. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to have to go talk to him again. We go through all the dialogue trees.
You cut me open last time.
You're not supposed to. Now we're getting on the Westworld. You're not supposed to remember that. All right, yeah. Let's go to the ship, and I would like to pay attention to anybody who notices, takes note, or like starts getting up as we're leaving. That kind of thing.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception plus alertness roll.
Add a 6.
Yep, difficulty 6. Oh yeah, you see some shit.
So 4 total.
You definitely see one guy that seems to have been watching you the whole time, and as you guys kind of got up, he did the whole like finish his drink and then kind of follow you non-discreetly, but definitely with your kind of keen senses. You notice he's following. He's not following you per se as much as getting ready to get on his ship, and he's gonna follow you.
Okay.
He also seems to be a player icon. He is a what looks to be like a 18-foot tall or no, sorry, that would not be discreet. So he is a 4-foot tall. I apologize. He's a 4-foot tall kind of like little lizard folk kind of thing in a spacesuit.
Am I able to pick up his gamer tag from here, or would I have to like talk to him for that?
You can do a scan and get his gamer tag. So his gamer comes up as um, Red Shadow.
Red Shadow. Okay, and then I would like to attempt to watch what ship he goes to, if the docks permit it. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's like an
Yeah.
open dock kind of area here, so you can see people get onto their spaceships and get off and stuff like that. So you notice that he's getting onto his ship after you guys get onto your ship, and I'm guessing you're kind of hanging out a little bit, or you're going to be using monitors to kind of watch him. So as you see him get onto his spaceship, you get like a little analysis kind of back on it, and it is what is a jammer ship, and it prevents you. It's kind of like a taunt. It prevents you from attacking anything other than this jammer ship, and it's designed to be extremely far away from you, so other things kind of hold you down, prevent you from doing anything, and this prevents you from attacking them, and then you can get
Okay.
blown up type thing.
All right.
The taunt can fail.
I'm going to. Does it affect jumping, or is it just the weapons?
It can be fitted. Any ship can be fitted with a thing that'll prevent you from warping or jumping.
Okay. Let's hope that the fact that our ship is actually present and not using game mechanics to jump, it has a limited amount of effect. All right. I'm going to mention to Tycho. Well, yeah, I'm going to mention to Tycho. Could you check your boards for somebody called Red Shadow?
All right, I'll
As
check.
we're walking, being.
I will check.
Okay. You check back, and Red Shadow comes back as being a member of one of the virtual adept groups who, has been kind of in the game for the last like 30 or so years and have been kind of building up themselves for a while now. Um, he is well known for being a like combat pilot, PvPer type kind of group, um, and has attempted the run in multiple occasions, but has never been able to succeed. He's gone on fleets and stuff like that throughout the tenure that he's had.
He's perfect. He's perfect. I got my plans for him.
Are we going to hire
To
him?
the ship. Yeah, basically. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I don't give a shit about any of the wealth and riches that are inside of the system. We just need to get to the node. So he's going to be a wingmate that's not actually part of the team. So hopefully it doesn't change the combat encounter because, he's not actually part of the mission.
Robert, give me an intelligence check, difficulty of 6. All right, all you needed was one success. You do recognize this person. You've dealt with him kind of in the past, and you know him to be a gray suit
Oh.
that he's
I mean, that
infiltrated.
doesn't mean that we're gonna get along, but at least
You guys probably have code words and shit.
Are we monitoring or actively pursuing?
I'm basically I'm trying to prep something for when he inevitably finds us.
Yeah.
We could try to take a weird route to get there, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a couple of jumps in between beacons that you have to take this path, and therefore you're going to go through there. And if that's the case, he'll just go and just be waiting at it for us. Like he doesn't need to try to even track us.
Can we plot out a route and see how many choke points there are?
Yeah, why don't we get loaded up, get moving, and then we're going to have a handful.
Have to include him in our plans.
So just to make this kind of simple, I'm going to send you guys a link here to kind of give you the visual of what the area is here. Second.
Where are you sending it to?
I'll put it in Technogate chat. Just a second here.
Okay.
And once we're done with that, there's a thing that I want to do.
Okay, and that will go into Technogate. There we go. Technogate. So that is a map. You guys are located in Latisteer.
Oh, I see. We're up there. Where do we got to get to?
And then you guys have to get to Hain in the center.
Hain, there. Okay. What? Never mind. I can see that there's a key. So it seems like the red dash ones are considered contested.
I wouldn't worry about that. Just consider everything to be extremely hostile.
There's no real alternate routes here. We're basically on a straight shot down a pipe.
Yeah, you have two major routes in. There's you can go Ashy to Oin to Vitrus to Doicelary to Atluli, Albin, then Hain, or you can go the Valor, Artelin, Abalu parts.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I am.
But there are different kind of, you can also do like fake out type kind of things where, if somebody's chasing you, if you're fast enough, you might be able, head towards a rant and then shoot around to go back.
Well, by the time we get to Albin, we're gonna have a good sense of what it takes to actually jump. Because I have a feeling if they lose us, they're just gonna head there and wait, for us to come through.
You do know that it gets more dangerous as you get closer, so like some of the most dangerous areas are like Abalu parts, Albin, Altalul. Those are like the most dangerous systems before. Hain is the like sacred system that
Yeah,
as you,
Hane's the one that's hard to get into.
yep,
Okay.
that's the last jump.
And then we're gonna take him someplace in Hain, and then he's gonna do something and take us to someplace else.
No, once you guys get to Hain, you guys will dock in a space station there, and that's where the node will be.
Okay. So is Hain the locked? Like that's the one that's locked off. No one can get to, unless you have him with you.
Right.
Okay.
So everybody else can get to all the way to Albin and hang out in Albin and try and kill you in Albin.
Yeah, it's just that's also a hostile area for them too, presumably.
Correct, and it's more, the closer you get, the more hostile it gets.
All right. Well, Captain, what do you? Should we go the most direct route? Should we try to do the indirect route?
No, it's 7 in either direction, and
Yeah, well,
there's really no way to take an alternate route unless we do like a bunch more jumps.
Well, I was thinking go straight down twice to the bottom corner, then go up to Denard, go straight up to Kermurk, then up to Errant, and then down. Then the remaining 4 jumps down to Albin. With the idea being, if we go south, they're still gonna just meet us at Albin. Like that's if I was chasing somebody and I lost them and they're going what appeared to be the southern loop, I would still just go straight to Albin.
Albin's pretty hard to get to, though, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and if it is something they can't easily do, why haven't they just done this mission already?
Well, when you have
So-
the cargo, it gets harder, of course.
Okay. That
Yeah.
tracks.
Well, I mean, that's adding 2, but I wouldn't mind it as kind of a fake out. But this whole thing is adaptive, so even then it's
There's
The-
2 components. The Guardian encounter is going to be the adaptive one, but like how many players find you along the way is just going to be up because they're actually people. They're people doing this.
yeah.
I have
Well,
half a mind to try to disconnect their internet, like find their ISP and just disconnect them from the internet in the real world.
in theory, that's what we're going to be doing in the back door,
You
back
could.
channel.
Options, I guess.
We're
The other
gonna
thing I was
really
thinking,
try a lot of stuff.
if you could come up with
Okay.
a back door between like Denard and Albin, like an uncharted. But I have a feeling the game's really not going to like that for you to be coming up with new paths.
Well,
from that
well,
side.
we can ask the guy because I'm pretty sure he
No.
said we can take whatever direction we want.
Okay. I have a feeling that he doesn't know at all. He just knows that once he gets there, that's when he completes the quest.
Hey, guy, are we supposed to go a certain direction, or are we just trying to go that one place?
As long as you
we
can
want.
get me to the gates of Hain, I can open the way.
All right, all good. All right, so we can go whatever way we want.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and who knows? Maybe you can, maybe you can look at traffic, and on the backside, and then like advise me directions to travel. Like, oh, don't go to that section. don't go to that node or that system because we can tell there's a whole bunch of player ships in it. We don't have a lot of options, I guess, but that could be. You could even try to like jump into Cat off of Vilmore and then just like hang out there for a while and like pretending to mine or something. So then they maybe they like, oh, we thought he took that. It must have been a different ship that took that mission.
Yeah. So the thing that I want to do. So question to the GM. You said earlier, and I think this is correct. Once we take the mission, that guy disappears until we either succeed or fail. Correct?
Well, yeah, that guy. There's only one of him in the game, so he comes with you, and nobody else can access the mission anymore. But they can.
Yeah, I want to make another one of him that will show up on the station at some point. I assume he respawns.
So yeah, technically he would respawn. So you want to make it seem like he respawned when he really.
Yeah, I want to make it seem like we failed the mission, and I want it to be probably pretty soon.
Oh, smart. Yeah, give me an Arte roll. Difficulty of. Well, we'll start off with a computer plus wits. Difficulty of 6.
So I'm going to take this idea to the rest of the crew because we're just sitting on the ship. You can like sit with this guy for probably a pretty long time before he like walks away, right?
Yeah, and stations are considered quote unquote safe. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you can get attacked on the station technically.
Yeah. So I go to everybody else and I'm like, okay, so I've got this idea. I explain it. I want to make it, as realistic or convincing as possible. So if you guys could help me, so first of all, I want to use my research roll from earlier. How does he show up? He just appears in the same spot, or does he like come out of a door? I want it to be accurate.
Usually he arrives with a shuttle.
Okay. All right. So we can create a construct. Do we need a shuttle, or can I just generate that?
You can buy one on the market that's here for like 1,000 credits.
Okay. I'll just. Who's my stupid gopher? David Larkins. No, that's not it. I had somebody on the ship. Shouldn't be spending time looking for this name, but I really want to know it. Lysander and Tessa. Go buy me a shuttle.
All right. They head on out and, well, actually, they just go to a terminal and punch it in and buy you a shuttle. All right, done, sir.
So, all right. So we have a shuttle in the shuttle bay?
Yeah, they can put it in
cargo bay.
Yep, they'll do a few taps and put it into the cargo.
All right. So as a group, we kind of need to figure out what we need to add to this guy. So I've got dimensional science. Are things here made of spirit stuff? Is it ephemera?
No, it's all data.
Okay, so this is all correspondence then, and probably mind.
Correspondence, mind, forces, prime, to a certain degree.
Okay,
trying to make a clone.
Yes, I suppose here life would kind of affect constructs.
I mean,
so we just
all of those spheres he mentioned. So.
Well, okay, so
I don't give a fuck if it's alive or not. I can fuck with data.
All right, so I've got one in every sphere. So I'll create the framework, and then you guys just help me out with the individual stuff. So I'll start with the base, although I shouldn't be GMing this.
No, I'm going. Go ahead. I'm loving this. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to start with what was it that you said earlier? Intelligence technology.
Yeah, that could work. Or computers.
I don't have anything computer.
I would let you do hypertech since it's a magic thing that you're doing. So, but you just have to incorporate, using probably the spaceship and other things, hypertech, basically, quote unquote. Maybe there's a device that like the armband that the doctor needs.
Okay, yeah. So I'll pull it out of my dad's gun belt now that I've finally got that dot in correspondence. I'm like, that's what that's for. And I kind of place it in the air, and it just kind of hovers there. And that's my intelligence hypertech, and that'll be difficulty 6.
Yep, that'd be diff 6. 2 successes.
That is 2.
All right.
All right. So that would affect my ret roll. Probably bring it down by 1.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm building the framework. So this should be a pretty low.
Yeah, the difficulty is for you is just basically at this point 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many 10s?
That is
Just 1.
5 successes.
Solid.
All right. So we need to mimic his programming.
Yep.
We need to defy scanning. Make
think,
it somewhat.
I can do prime
stuff's
and
pretty
forces.
Okay, this stuff's pretty outdated. I think I could whip up a pretty good AI to mimic it.
Okay. And I've got this whole database of information that I've got from the forums.
Yeah.
It looks like we've got his entire.
Oh yeah, I imagine
they've been
people
mapping out.
Yeah.
They've been mapping out his adaptive algorithm for years. So
Perfect.
okay, that's that data block.
Phaedra, I'm guessing, could make it, she could give all the looks and feel of, like, the whole, the actual, because the character itself looks pretty real, actually. So she would probably, with the idea of how she understands the human body so intricately, she could probably build a perfect framework for you on the body itself. Unless you have any other ideas, Phaedra.
That's basically what I was thinking about. And then oomphing it with correspondence.
What are you physically doing? So I'm going to start off. Tycho, you had your base framework of kind of. I'm guessing yours is mainly scanning the dude himself too. Is like getting the base pattern scan as well off of the guy and what he is, and then these guys can build off of that.
Yeah. So we're kind of doing this in a lab, and this guy is like sitting in another room, and we've got full scanners. So I'm just like, I'm building the base framework. Physical.
All right, and then Phaedra. So what are you
core.
doing, like physically?
Gonna basically start from scratch like I normally do. I'm gonna grab a piece of Tycho's hair to start as a base, and then altering it as close as possible to what I think his DNA would be, and gonna grow it against that frame.
All right, cool. So go ahead and give me a. For this, I'm going to do medicine plus wits, difficulty of 6. All right, you can do it at difficulty of 7.
Okay, that's better.
All right, so with 2 successes, or 3 successes, you will have good little basis here. So go ahead and do your Arte roll. Difficulty for you, we're gonna say with the 2 extra successes, it'll be difficulty of 4.
Okay, 3 successes.
All right, so off to a really good start with Tycho's framework and Phaedra building a very lifelike human, very similar to the way that they kind of built this framework of taking DNA and kind of building it out from there instead of trying to just make a complete hologram. This thing actually has like flesh and bone and stuff like that inside of it. It's a very spookily weird design, but the AI inside of it, like Robert said, is extremely simple. Um, and Robert, you are up next. What are you physically doing?
I want to take all of the kind of information of patterns, behaviors, all the weird little quirks and stuff people have found when trying to find like back doors in through this game and stuff, and use those to craft like as perfect a combination or as perfect a replication as possible. I was tempted to try and make it like really just good and impressive, but I think that would be actually a bad idea.
All right, make a computers plus wits roll, difficulty of 6. Oh wow.
4.
All right, so solid 4 successes. So you go ahead and roll difficulty of 3, or so yeah, I'll do difficulty 3 for you. For Arte.
3.
All right. So you are easily able to like kind of access the kind of concept and codes behind this and kind of make it so that this thing looks like it was built inside of the digital web, basically. Malachi, what are you doing?
I have never been more terrified to make an arret roll, having all of those successes prior to me. I am going to be building a battery and working in the prime to drive the whole thing, and then putting in some like force projectors as such to give it the appropriate amount of weight and mass.
Nice. All right, go ahead and make we'll do technology plus wits, difficulty of 6.
Wits and technology at a 6.
Ooh, difficulty of 3 for your Arte roll.
Oh!
Wow.
Holy shit.
I was so terrified. They're all successes for a total of 6.
Wow. All right, so yeah, you guys make what looks to be like a perfect replica of this guy. In fact, you even have like from what Robert kind of did of stealing like the backdoor code of this this AI. You even have like some of the mission, like he'll act like he's part of the mission parameters and stuff like that, and will even take somebody off onto a mission.
They're going to be so pissed when they get there. They didn't get the encounter and it doesn't open.
I don't know. Maybe we made it so good that it actually works.
And nothing happens. They're just like, what the fuck?
All right. So I'm thinking okay, so we need to replicate the briefcase too, which simple enough.
I can do that with, if we want a physical briefcase, if we just let me add matter to it.
Alakazam. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Unless the briefcase itself is giving off any kind of weird signals that we have to replicate, but I'm guessing that's
kind of already part of your whole thing that you kind of have.
Yeah.
Plus,
so I think what we're gonna do is just do a quick 5-minute break because we're coming up on our second hour, just a little bit past being second hour actually into the game here. So we'll take just a little bit of quick break here, and then we'll jump right back into it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Technogate 1999. Where last we left off, our players were just departing the space station and had created a replica of the NPC that they need in order to unlock the final gate to enter Hain. So you guys have just undocked from the station in Latisteer, and you are going to be making your way to Vif, is that correct? Or Ashy?
We could also go Old Man Star.
Yeah.
That's actually shorter. It's
Yeah.
only
Oh, it's technically, yeah, you could go to Old Man Star.
Can I do a? No. Let's just choose one. Let's do Old Man Star.
Old Man Star.
It's the shortest route.
Okay. So you guys undock from the station, align out, and enter into warp and head to the first Stargate that will take you from Latisteer to Old Man Star.
Before we make that jump, I was muted for a second there. I'm sorry about that. But we don't have to jump quite yet. Why don't we get you guys into the digital web? And the plan is we'll go Old Man Star down and straight to it. And if you guys do anything or discover anything, or we might change. But that'll be the plan.
Before we do that, we have to figure out what to do with this guy. Are we leaving him in a shuttle in this system, or are we taking him with us? I kind of think we have to leave him here, right? Because if we really fail the mission, he just kind of shows up in a shuttle, right?
Right, yep.
So we need to find a place to hide him or something. Hide a shuttle.
You could put him behind a moon, that makes him, not be scannable.
All right, yeah, let's get him on his course, get you guys connected up, wired up, jacked in. And
all right, so we leave him behind a moon.
All right, yeah, so then we send the radio signal. He'll then go and just dock and get off.
Yeah, so we can do it whenever.
Sounds good.
All right. I say that before we do the digital web stuff, though, just for sake of game's sake, I'll have one encounter with you guys on the spaceship, and then we'll probably start the next game with going into the digital web and having, half the game in the digital web and half the game out of the digital web. Even though you're in the digital web right now, but
I love it.
Besides the point. So yeah, you guys warp off. You guys drop off the shuttle with the fake courier guy, and you guys warp back over and jump into Old Man Star. So when you guys arrive inside of Old Man Star, as you guys are kind of getting the virtual virtual reality equipment all set up and getting yourselves all set into it, you get a distress call that comes on over the comms.
How far away is it?
It is located at the one of the asteroid belts of the star system. And it is a person that is sending out a distress call saying that he is a miner of the USS Opteron. He is under attack by a pirate group. He is sending out a distress call on all frequencies. He will pay handsomely if you can stop these pirates from attacking him.
What are the directional scanners showing?
So you do a directional scan, do a perception plus alertness, difficulty of 4.
Which encounter is this, Tycho? Does your board forums have?
Difficulty of what?
Difficulty of 6.
Well, it's one of the early ones, so I think it should be relatively simple.
Oh,
5 successes.
wow.
Doing
Real quick, I'm gonna just give what Robert got out of his
Yeah.
thing here real quick. So Robert does a quick scan of the asteroid belt, and it comes back with one industrial mining ship that is equipped with just some basic defenses, and then there is 3 um, you know frigate class starships, the kind of basic hulls. Not when you do like a comparison of the ratio of what you've got to what they've got, you outclass all 3 of them.
Threat level low.
All right. So, do you guys want to test the ship?
Bring us in, Captain Williams.
Never seen this ship in actual combat before.
All right, the warp drive engages, and you guys land approximately 20 kilometers away from the 3 frigates that are currently swarming this poor industrial miner that, like hovers in space. It's like 4 times, well, probably about like 8 times the size of what these like little frigates are. So there's just like little gnats that are shooting at it, and you can see like the shields are starting to fail, and the laser blasts are starting to get through the hull. The hitting armor, and penetrating through the shields. The miner is still giving out the distress call and sees that you arrive and sends you a direct message and says, "I don't know how much longer I can hold out here. I hope that you're here to help."
Does this track with the scripted missions or the scripted events that I've researched?
The scripted events that you kind of researched, there is definitely something similar on this. It does seem like the enemies that you are seeing here are all NPCs. So none of these seem to be player characters. And it's very possible this could be. However, you also know that there's, by researching the lore and stuff like that, this randomly can happen as well to other players.
I think we should hail the pirates and see what they're asking for. It could at least buy us some time.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I try to hail one of the pirate ships.
The pirates respond and say, "This is our bounty. Get away from here, and we won't take away your life as well."
Oh, that's funny. I was gonna tell you to offer us up some money so that we'd go away and not take you out.
Oh, really? He does, he kind of looks down at his scans, and says, "Well, I see that you outclass all 3 of us. I tell you what, we'll give you half of the bounty or half of the loot that we get out of the hull that he's got. This man's carrying some extremely precious ore that we'll be able to scoop up with one of our industrials that is going to be on its way after we destroy him."
Why would I let you have any of it if you tell me that?
Because we have the ability to haul it.
I look over at everybody else.
I whisper, do we have interceptors? Can we scramble interceptors? I don't think we do. I don't think the ship's big enough for that.
Yeah, that was the whole solo thing.
Yeah, you don't quite have any you could have had allies technically, but you're going solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ship itself doesn't have any fighters or drones.
Okay, GM, I'm over at a console, and I'm looking back at my data files that I downloaded earlier from the forums and like all the data I have on this. I would like to do a little bit of entropy on the altruism, greed, wrath. dynamic of this mission? Like, what got people the farthest? Is it a combination? Is it cyclical? Is it just one? Is it two of them? Just
Give
trying
me-
to figure out, like,
Yeah, I like it. Give me an Arate roll difficulty of we're gonna say 4. But just straight up Arate. You've
Oh.
already done the research.
yeah, I only have 1 dot in it, so not much. 3 successes.
Yeah, so solidly you get the concept of what you're kind of getting out of the sense of the fates of this is the your scientific analysis of like you said. And you kind of get back here that the concept of saving, that there's more to the missions possibly of saving, like after you save the miner, there might be some more interactions that you'll have that go down, branching down different things, but there is a very solid reward at the end of getting an ally that will help you later on in the missions. But it's not
Okay.
necessarily that it'll end in that chain.
In the back of the room, you hear Malachi yell, "Deploy hard points!"
Jeez, wrong video game. But does it reward absolute altruism? Like, if we kill the bad guys, is that better, or is it like if we only use non-lethals and disable them, is that better?
Some say that disabling and warding off can get you interesting rivalries that can come back up to possibly turn into good things. Like you can turn bad NPCs into good guys, depending on how you interact with them.
In that case, I will. Captain Williams, non-lethals only. They might be factional. If we don't kill these guys now, there's a possibility that their faction will be less hostile to us later.
Yes, sir.
We should give them one more chance to back out before they get hurt too.
Well, we obviously have non-lethal means. Deploy
No, I mean, give them a threat.
energy field expression generators.
And if we disable one ship easily, the other two might just be like, "Oh, hey, no, we're cool, we're leaving."
Well, so Robert does point out something important. Right now, they completely don't see you coming. They think that now you're allied with them, and that you're gonna get half the bounty at this kind of point. They don't see any other reason. So, are you to just strike at them, or are you gonna give them a chance to retreat?
Tycho is just saying don't kill them. Or try not to. That's all. I am not directing anybody after that.
So
Yeah, I think we should deploy hard points, get as close to them as possible while talking to them, and then suddenly open up, and then to scare them away.
Oh, I was thinking that was just going to kill them outright.
You just said we had all these non-lethal guns.
Well,
I was going to kill them outright, but
when you say hard points, I'm thinking the things that kill people fast.
No, those are the places where you attach the guns to. They're structurally sound.
Actually, he's talking very very much in Eve speak as well.
When the I'm actually using Elite Dangerous, but
Yeah,
Elite
as it turns out,
Dangerous.
they're
Oh yeah,
similar.
no, that is Elite Dangerous. Yeah, that's a good game though. Very
But,
similar to what we're doing
and in
as
that
well.
one, it's the lore is that because of the torques that weapons produce, they can only go on ships in certain places because they have to be structurally sound to the frame so they don't rip themselves off the ship. And that's why hence the hard point. It's a hard. But like if we had lasers that would just EMP turn the ship off, they would still go on those hard points.
I mean, they know we're more powerful than them. If we call them up quick and say, "I think you misunderstood. It's time for you to leave," their reaction could tell us what they have coming too, because they said another industrial is coming for them to scoop it up, and it might have more protection and
Yeah.
stuff with it.
Well, regardless, we have to stop this attack.
Or do we just blow them up before those other guys get here?
I think
Well-
we blow up one. We tell the other two that we're going to blow you up next, unless if you leave, and then we get
Disable or blow up one?
honestly either one. If we have the option to disable,
You have
would be
you
better.
have the option to do EM
I think
attacks basically.
Disable one, yeah.
Yep, yeah. Disable one. Give the other two the chance to go. Take out all three. Tell them that we could have killed you easily, although they probably will understand it. And then we tell the other dude who has that industrial carrier to get his fleet together and head to Ulber and just be chaos in that system when we jump in. So hopefully, they got if we do have people that are going to be ganking us there, they will do so with like a bunch of options opposed to having only the one ship.
All right, so let's go ahead and so I think that you guys are not going. You're not going to hail them though. You're going to go in and attack at this point, right?
I thought we were-
If you want to, you can tell them not good enough, and then we can start shooting the EMPs. Otherwise, we can just start shooting the EMPs. I don't think the game will actually care in that regard. It is a pretty advanced game, though.
All right, so I'm not hearing.
It sounds like
The captain is kind of taking that as, because she's the one kind of still commanding in this, so she's like, all right, bring us about, open up our lock on target, open fire at will, disable all two of the targets, and your ship kind of like comes down in and just kind of swoops in. The energy weapon at the very center of your ship kind of charges up. That can open up a black hole as well, and just starts launching electrical bolts of basically lightning at them, and it kind of like hits one, arcs off, and smashes into the other as well.
oh no.
And you see like the entire like lighting system of everything kind of like powers down on both of the ships. The other ship that the third ship that's like been firing at this time just like burns off and just jumps into warp after a couple of seconds. And then you can see a large explosion happen on the mining ship. And a hail comes in from the mining ship.
A large explosion?
That's not good. We were too slow. Hey, what's up? Actually, no.
The screen pops up and you see like a shaky, very fuzzy kind of screen come up, and there's a bunch of fire in the background, and you hear the guy shouting on there. He says, "We've got multiple wounded here. We have a reactor that blew due to stress from the shield reactor going exploding. We have massive damage that we need repaired. Are you able to assist us?"
I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
have to now.
Do you want evacuation or boarding parties with stuff?
We have it contained to the aft section of the ship. We have it away from the primary reactor. It was just one of the main shield reactors that went critical. We just need help with the wounded and some basic repairs to seal up that sector and get everybody safe.
Yeah, we should be able to handle that.
Pull us alongside. I'm gonna go get my suit. Off to get my suit.
I'm gonna go get my med kit.
Is this a fucking away team mission?
All right, so you guys, land up right next to it. Are you guys just gonna teleport over? Good old Star Trek style, or
Star Trek style.
Yeah, it does make the whole how do you go from ship to ship a lot easier.
Say, beat me up, Scotty, and then I realized I'm the Scotty.
All right. Tessa runs the transport room, and Lysander is coming with us, and he's wearing a red shirt.
Woo! Okay, poor
Poor
Lysander.
Lysander.
Poor Lysander. When I walk in the room, I'm just like, oh, that's sad.
All right, so you guys teleport over onto the ship. There's red flashing lights, emergency lighting only. There's tubing falling from from the ceiling, and there's like spray of coming from one of the walls of some kind of gas that's shooting out into the air. You're on the main bridge, or sorry, the main shield reactor area, like just outside of where the main reactor kind of went. There's a bunch of people that are hurt in this area, and there is a door that needs to be sealed. And then there's also equipment that needs to be worked on in order to shut down the main, like shut down the power that's going here and all the power leaks that are happening. And basically, the main bridge is lost connection to a lot of these areas, so it just needs to have manual interaction in order to shut down the power that's kind of going to all this area.
I'll close the door.
All
I'm
right.
just screaming at people to line up the injured for severe to least severe.
Okay, and Robert?
I'm gonna be helping triage and try to also like use my briefcase to put out kind of a soothing. I want to try to calm some of the panic and stuff, and help everybody relax a little and get through it.
Awesome. And then Malachi.
I'm gonna walk around with like a flamethrower-esque looking thing that is spraying either nanites or a polymerized metal that basically acts just. And I'm gonna just start like fixing parts of the getting the sparks to stop flying, putting the fires out, using forces and matter and prime as necessary.
Awesome. Give me. So I'm going to start with Malachi. We're going to do the weird thing that they do with combat technically, but we're just not rolling initiative. So we all did our declarations. So Malachi, you get to go first on your Arate roll, difficulty of 5.
Okay. So yeah, forces to put the fire out. Depending on how much you let me do in one roll, forces to put the fire out, and matter and prime to start regenerating, like holes and such.
I love it. I like the idea that your gun is like kind of it's like that foam that like puts out fire, but then it's really nanites that kind of like churn into like and rebuild the wall successfully and like repairing the different conduits that are power leaking at this point. So you start
Yeah.
off with a solid 1 success. So you start your process of starting to repair this area, and instead of trying to shut down power to this, you're actually rebuilding the walls here so that it is actually functional again. Awesome.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Robert, so you said you were calming people
Yeah.
and kind of triaging the event here.
Yep. Triage some of the wounded and try to get. I think if I could put like an actual kind of direct effect from the calming, I would hope that it would in some way kind of like boost others' efforts because there's less chaos around and like people are like able to concentrate a little better and kind of focus on things without being panicked.
Awesome. I love it. Go ahead, give me an Arate roll, difficulty of we'll do 5. All right, solid 2 successes it looks like.
Yeah.
All right. And so that will put you solidly as kind of like building up the thing we're going to do, probably multiple rolls on that. So Phaedra, you said that you were kind of triaging as well, getting people, calming people down, as well as I'm guessing like doing healing and stuff like that on everybody.
Yeah, I'm dividing up the group. I'm gonna let Robert deal with the people who aren't severely injured, and I'm gonna
So you're
go
going to go
after
with the
the
more
ones.
severely injured,
Yep.
calm them
Yeah.
down and get a triage on them so that you can get to the next person. Awesome.
Teamwork.
Do a Arate roll, difficulty of 5. All right, another one success. So you guys are all solidly setting yourselves up here. Tycho, um, you were going to go for the door and get the door repaired. So the door is kind of jammed open and solidly damaged. Um, Go ahead and give me. You can either do a intelligence plus, or sorry, a wits plus hypertech difficulty of 6, or you can do an Arate roll difficulty of 5.
Let's see. Wits hypertech.
Okay.
That is a lot more dice. Difficulty 6, you said?
Yep. But you can't lower the difficulty. Well, you can only do it with a red because of the way that I said it. Wow.
That's a lot.
Okay, well, so that's 6 successes. So with the
I
solid,
found a lever that allowed me to increase my forces.
all right. So Tycho, you have closed the door solidly and got it back into operational capacity at this point. Um, Tycho, you get to go again, and this time you have a free action because I'm going to kind of go back down the row because everybody's kind of doing the same thing again, except for you. So, what are you going to do for your free round now that the door is fixed?
What were the things that were bad again? It's people dying. There's a
People,
fire.
yeah, people dying, people in a panic, and repairing the power or shutting the power down. Like
Uh,
basically there's just like a wild amount of like electricity shooting all over the place and shit all broken and stuff. So you just gotta shut down everything or repair
okay, I'm
it.
going to do that one. The
Okay.
power systems.
Once again, you can do hyper tech difficulty of 6 or a Arate roll.
Okay, do you want me to roll that now, or are we going backwards again?
I'm gonna do for you. You're gonna do it right now.
Hypertech. You know what? I'm going to throw a willpower on this.
Cool.
Didn't need it. Spending it anyway.
All
But
right.
it's 2
So
tens.
so you've solidly started repairing pretty much everything. So that's 7 successes that you got. So you not only are able to shut down power, but you're able to kind of reroute it so that you're working with what Malachi is going to be doing in order to like basically rebuild this entire sector and probably even get the shield generator back up, depending on the magics that I'm sorry, the advanced science of that crazy gun that Malachi is shooting. So,
Yeah.
but
So as I rip into a console and find the connector that I disconnect to like do the thing, and I'm like, Malachi, shoot your nanite juice at this.
all right,
You know
Phaedra.
it, baby.
So you got a critical person, two critical people before you, that are in a hyper kind of situation. Everybody else is kind of starting to kind of settle down to a certain degree. Go ahead and give me an Arte roll, difficulty of 5, or you can do medicine difficulty of 6 plus wits. And magic, by the way, or advanced science is a lot more successful. You might have a smaller dice pool, but if you get the successes, it means a lot more.
That was the medicine roll.
All right. Well, the medicine roll you did not botch, but you did fail. So at this point in time, you have 2 people that are still in critical condition, and next turn one of them will die if you don't heal them. Robert, you are up. You are going to be calming kind of everybody, or you can kind of help out Phaedra at this point because you've kind of
I
calmed down
think seeing
things.
that I might switch over and ask kind of what she needs and try to help out. I've got like a basic understanding of like field medicine type stuff.
So you can either do Arate, or do you have life?
I've one in life.
One in life will be all that you need in this situation. So go ahead and give me either an Arate roll, difficulty of 4, or you can do a medicine roll, difficulty of 6.
Okay.
Medicine plus wits.
I think I'm gonna go Arate. You said medicine plus wits.
Yep, that would be the other
Okay.
roll where you're
And it
not
was
doing
Arate
advanced.
difficulty of 4.
Yep. Oh no. Well, not a botch.
Not a botch, just a fail.
Yep. So
We really can't help these people.
what was the physical thing that you were trying to do in order to help?
I think that I originally thought that I knew more than I did about what I saw, but I thought it was something that I'd be able to do more for, but I probably ended up just kind of getting in the way.
All right, Malachi, what are you doing? More repairs. That's right.
Yes, I am
so-
working on. I'm going to continue my repair work.
So another
slowly
Arate.
making my.
And since you've kind of got it started, I'll also, well, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's all that you need in order to kind of work with Tycho and his massive seven
That is
7 inch. I mean 7 success.
It was
And it's actually 2 successes. I rolled that at a 6, not a 5.
Oh, okay. So
So
solid
if that
then.
helps at all.
Absolutely.
But
So this place is
Yep.
basically up and running 100%. At this point, you just have the 2 dying people. Malachi, it is your turn again. This time it's free because you've successfully repaired the damage to this area, and the shield is even operation, or the shield generator is even back in operation.
let me do a quick evaluation if I have combat medic training. It's really not my thing.
Do you have life at all?
I don't have life. I do have medicine though. I have a dot in medicine.
Well, you could do medicine.
If we're at the triage stage where we're just trying to
Stabilize.
I may be,
We
yeah.
need a
I may still
success.
be useful.
Would be very helpful.
All right. So
One-
looking around the room and seeing that Tycho has done excellent work with electronics. I've got the holes patched and the fire's out. There's not throwing sparks anymore. I'm going to run over to whichever one looks worse and attempt to do the combat field training of.
There's a lot more holes to patch over here.
All right, wits plus medicine, difficulty of 6.
Wits and medicine at a 6. Oh, that came up really fast.
Wow, solid.
2 successes.
2 successes. So, yep, you're able to stabilize one of them. So, Robert, it is your turn now.
So now I think I'm gonna. Oh, what do I have on me?
Did we miss my
Oh
turn?
yeah, we missed. Yeah, we missed Phaedra.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Phaedra.
Okay, I'm going to spend a willpower. I'm just going to do a straight up Arte roll. Is it still difficulty?
Difficulty of 5, yep.
Four successes.
All right.
Nice.
So you have fully healed and brought back, got him fully stabilized, put the thing down, and he's 100% now. And the other guy is stabilized. Everybody else is pretty well off at this point, and you guys have successfully saved the ship and multiple of the crew member, and repaired it, got it fully back up and operational. And just as you guys are fully back up and operational, that kicked back on like the full, because it was leaking power and stuff, so it didn't have enough energy to even get into warp. Now it's able to get into warp just as a like 300-man pirate fleet drops down onto your group, and you guys are able to jump into warp just as this happens and get to the station and dock up for safety. And that's where we're gonna end it here. So everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 6 experience for the crazy experience that you guys have kind of gone through at this point, and then we'll open it up next week with part 2, where you guys are going to be doing some digital web hacking alongside of some adventures in the star cluster of the digital web.
All right.
We're gonna jack into the digital web from the digital web.
This is
Great.
so incepted.
I have full intention on trying to convince this guy he should go do some mining in Albin, but I'm also completely prepared for him to go, "What, are you effing nuts? Get out of here!" Like, oh yeah, just go do some casual mining there. It's real safe right now. But no, that was good.
All right, cool. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all for playing. You guys, this has been great.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Good night, peeps.
Good night.
Yep, have a good one.